Binge or Bin from Independent TV, giving you the lowdown on which TV shows are binge-worthy and which ones are bin-worthy. This week, we've been watching the final season of Better Call Saul on Netflix and Peacock's mystery comedy series, The Resort.
And we'll introduce you to our picks of hidden gems we think you should be watching.
Annabel!
Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm very good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Been watching a lot of TV. So, what have you been watching?
So, I think it's time to talk about this show. We haven't spoken about it yet, and I think because it's finishing next week, it's going to be the last ever episode. It's time to talk about Better Call Saul, which obviously is a prequel to Breaking Bad, focusing on Bob Odenkirk's character. It's 6 seasons in. You know, a lot of people go, is it as good as Breaking Bad? Or if I watch Breaking Bad, will I like the show? The thing is, it's a very different kettle of fish to what Breaking Bad was. Slowly but surely, you start kind of seeing the Breaking Bad DNA seep in. But what I will say is it feels altogether more like it feels more mature than Breaking Bad ever did. And I don't want to diss Breaking Bad. I would class it in, one of the top 20 shows of all time. But I would put Better Call Saul higher than Breaking Bad, if I'm honest.
The wicked flee when no man pursueth.
You think we're wicked?
It's going to be a great finale for the ages because it's been a fantastic final season. In my opinion, it hasn't put a foot wrong. I think it's one of the great all-time final seasons we've ever seen and surely we'll ever see. The writing takes twists and turns in such an understated way that you don't even know that you're so shocked by what you've seen until hours after the episode has finished. And you're lying in bed and you're thinking about it and then you're thinking, oh my God, like this is a Breaking Bad prequel. I never thought that this would be as good as it is. Bob Odenkirk is great, but I think for Ray Seahorn, who plays Kim Wexler, who is a character who is such a big part of why Better Call Saul is what it is, but isn't in Breaking Bad. So there's been this whole dramatic irony throughout of what's going to happen to this character. Like where is her story going to go? And she's just so fantastic. And she's got an Emmy nomination finally, her first, believe it or not. And if she doesn't win it, there will be a revolt probably. But yeah, I think the show is just fantastic.
Very high praise. So I feel like I know where this is going, but is Better Call Saul a binge or a bin?
Total bin. I actually I lied. No, I it's a binge. It's a resounding binge. It's as I said, I think it's in the pantheon of the greats. I'm talking Sopranos, The Wire, Lost. It's up there.
It's not going to go down the way you think it is.
I've been watching The Resort, which is a Peacock murder mystery series, which is available to watch in the UK on Now TV. And I think the best way to kind of describe this show briefly is it's like the TV equivalent of a trashy beach read. So yeah, the show is created by Andy Sierra, who's probably best known for his film Palm Springs, which starred Andy Samberg, and it was that time loop comedy, which I really liked actually. And it also starred Christina Milioti, who is in this as well, and she plays Emma, who goes on vacation to Mexico with her husband Noah, played by the Good Place star William Jackson Harper. And they're this married couple, and they go to this all-inclusive resort in Mexico on holiday. And I mean, the first episode kind of sets it out that their marriage is in trouble and it's kind of boring, they're stuck in a rut. But then Emma happens across this old Motorola phone in the jungle, and going through the texts and like the photos on that, she discovers that it belonged to a college student back in 2007 who went missing at a neighboring resort. And so what unfolds is kind of, it's like a murder mystery genre. They're just together, they're like trying to uncover clues and discover what happened to this boy. And then the show kind of toggles between them in the present and these memories in 2007 when he went missing.
Say this, as they will get you everything you need. Oh, even heroin? Sorry?
Just joking.
That's a bad joke.
It's about that kind of true crime fanatics, internet sleuths, like they're amateur detectives. But I think it's funny, but it's not that funny. It's thrilling, but it's not that thrilling. It's kind of just like mid on like every single level. And it's a lot of exposition. It's like clue after clue, followed by like a memory explaining that clue, and then another memory. We're only kind of partway through the season. There's 8 episodes and they're being released weekly, which I think is a problem for a show like this. And I am coming around to like that weekly release. I do like that for some shows, but this is kind of the thing that you want to put on a Sunday while you're doing your laundry, and it's just 8 hours, like morning to night time, and that's your like weekend sorted. It's the intrigue isn't there to like get you to return. If I wasn't reviewing it, I would have definitely have turned it off by now.
I think the binge model as well has saved a lot of shows. I think a lot of successful shows on Netflix wouldn't have been so successful if they did release them weekly, because a lot of people would have just decided not to return.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Yeah. So The Resort, I mean, I think you've just given game away there, but would you say it's a binge or a bin?
I think it's a bin.
But what if there aren't any answers?
Well, there have to be. Because otherwise, what is the point?
Should we talk about some hidden gems?
Yes, let's do it.
Great. So hidden gems is when we kind of like to shine the spotlight on the shows that we love, that you might not have seen and might not even have heard about in some instances. But in any rate, you should fast track to the top of your watch list. So my one is an interesting one. My one is The Terror, which was actually released in 2018 in the UK and the US. But it didn't really kind of find an audience in the UK until it was released on iPlayer last year. So The Terror, which was actually based on a book by Dan Simmons that was published in 2007, was actually developed by a guy called David Kajganich, who you might know his name on the credits of Luca Guadagnino films, Suspiria and A Bigger Splash. He actually wrote those films, co-wrote those films with Luca. The Terror is about a lost expedition and a massive ship that goes missing in 1845. They're stuck, they're frozen, and they've got nowhere to go. And there's something out there in the Arctic with them, they're not alone.
As a trusted friend once put it, this place wants us dead.
And I think the clue is in the name. There's some terror involved in this show, not to give anything away. But actually, it is quite spine-tingling at times, and it's very gruesome at times, but in a really alarming way, not in a silly comic booky way. There's nothing jokey about this show. It's very serious, and when you watch it, you think that was a really satisfying viewing experience. And if you're a fan of horror, which I know you are, Annabel, it's certainly something that will cater to those tastes. Cast-wise, you've got Jared Harris, you've got Kieran Hines, the two actors the series focuses on, but they're good in everything. So if they're in something, you just have to naturally watch it. You just got to watch it anyway. I know we've got Heatwave, another one coming up. The Terror could be a nice little antidote to the heat.
It's the ice, Georgie. It's only the ice.
So my hidden gem is What We Do in the Shadows. So I think a lot of people have either seen or at least heard of What We Do in the Shadows. And I know some people have definitely recently discovered it with Taika Waititi's rise to fame, what with the Oscar for Jojo Rabbit, and also his foray into Marvel with the Thor films. On this, he was the executive producer on the show and also one of the co-writers on the original film, which he co-wrote alongside Flight of the Conchords star Jermaine Clement.
He awakened.
Very cool, Master. Very scary.
Thank you.
So it's a TV series that premiered in 2019 and was based on the 2014 film of the same name, which Taika Waititi co-wrote with Flight of the Conchords star Jermaine Clement. And so the movie and the show are both kind of filmed in that, the Office style mockumentary. And it's set in New York, and it follows 4 roommates who have been friends for hundreds of years because they are also vampires. And it's just such a silly concept that, it's so silly that it works. And more than anything, it's kind of just like friends living together, and it's like a sitcom in that way. And then the vampire thing just adds a lot of opportunities to be outrageous, and it is often outrageous, but it's so good, and it's really funny, and it's just easy to watch. So the cast is just brilliant. You've got Kayvan Novak, Matt Berry, and most notably UK viewers will definitely recognise Natasha Demetrio from the Channel 4 sitcom Satellite's Flats. But it's just a riot, it's really fun.
This is pretty macabre.
Thanks so much for watching Binge or Bin. That's some good stuff there to keep you going until we see you again next time, and one to definitely stay away from if Annabel is to be believed. Like and comment below, and subscribe for more from Independent TV.